Some people come for the shopping. Christmas year-round at Bronner's. Or for famous chicken dinners at Zender's. Or walk across the street to the Bavarian Inn. Me, however, I come for the beer.
I'm Tammy Meyer. I'm the Assistant General Manager here at Frankenmuth Brewery. We're located downtown on the main drag of Frankenmuth, Michigan. Of course, we specialize in the beer. We're very well known. This has been the site of beer making since 1862. We also have a great menu here, so while we specialize in the beer, we also have something to share for the non-beer drinkers. We have lots of families and a great kids menu. We're well known for our burgers and our pizzas. Some of those foods that go real well with the beer pairing.
My name is Jeff Kuhn. I'm the brewmaster at Frankenmuth Brewery here right in downtown Frankenmuth, Michigan. And we're all about the beer here at Frankenmuth. Beer has been brewed on this site since 1862, which makes us the oldest operating brewery in the state of Michigan, which is kind of an exciting thing. And because we're in a German town, we do a large portion of our beer, our German beers, both lagers as well as ales. And then I do a variety of other beers as well. And on a hot, humid summer day like today, this beer is pretty darn tasty, that's for sure. Watch, I'm gonna make the guy drool behind the camera. Oh yeah, that's awesome. This is malted barley, and this malted barley is the prime ingredient in the beer that we make here at Frankenmuth Brewery. And what we do is we get the barley and then we crush it upstairs in our mill. And what we're trying to do is separate the germ from the husk, because it's the germ that we take and convert those starches in that germ to sugars that I can ferment to make beer.
This process is called?
This is the mash kettle. And in the mash kettle, we mix the malted barley with hot water at a certain temperature and we cook it or mash it for 60 minutes. After that happens, then we take the entire mash, now it's called, and we transfer it over to the kettle in which I'm leaning against. It's called the lauter tun. And here in the lauter tun, all we're doing is we're separating that sweet liquid from the grain that's left behind, because I no longer need this grain. But the beauty of this grain is I don't just take and throw it away. This particular grain here I give to a local farmer and he feeds his cows and sheep with it. So then we separate it, and then we send that liquid back to our boil kettle, and in the boil kettle we boil it. And we boil this for anywhere from 60 to 90 minutes. And that's when we add these beautiful things called hops. And the hops are what give beer its flavor profile, if you will. Things like boldness and spiciness, and some would even say a little bitterness, which are all important things because the hops balance out the sweet flavors from the malt itself, which is a sweet product. After that boiling takes process, then we take and we transfer it over to the final vessel called the whirlpool. And in the whirlpool, we're just whirlpooling out all the things that we put in, like the hops, like any of the proteins that coagulate together because of the boiling process, and to get it ready to send to the fermenter a very clear liquid. This is the fermentation building, and in the fermentation building we take that sweet liquid that we produced in the brew house and we turn it into beer. Because it doesn't become beer until we add that little ingredient called yeast, because the yeast, which is a live cultures, they actually begin fermenting or consuming the sugars there. And then we have some byproducts, byproduct one being ethanol, which people like, which is the alcohol. We have carbon dioxide, which people like, is because that's the carbonation in the beer. And so the beer here will sit, depending on the beer, it'll take anywhere from 2 weeks to 50 days to produce it. Your normal ales are 14 days and done. Reason being for that is that they ferment at warm temperature, which is room temperature, and so they ferment very quickly and they mature pretty quickly. So after they're done fermenting, then we cold condition them, and in 14 days they can go right to the glass, or keg or bottle, or however we're going to package it. And so here in the fermentation building, that's where we make this magic happen. And when we use the yeast, then we recover the yeast and reuse that time after time again until I can't use it any longer. And that's how we create beer here. This is our cellar area where we take the finished beer and we process it and package it. This first packaging machine here helps us package it into kegs. We have both half barrels, which is for someone with a large thirst, and this one is actually partially full, or we have 1/6 barrels, which is about 1/3 of the volume of this. And so this particular machine is a 2-station. It cleans them, sanitizes, sterilizes them, and then fills it with cool, ready-to-go carbonated beer. And we do bottle beer here, and looks like we're getting ready to fire some of that up a little bit later today because we want to get some beer in fresh bottles. Just a small bottling line that allows us to do about 20 bottles a minute. Not high speed by any stretch of the imagination, but it gets the job done. Yep, Carl over here is bottling up wine, and basically what we do is at this stage here, he's now just racking it into the bottles. We've already processed what needs to be processed. As you can see in the bottles, it's crystal clear as it's supposed to be. And so he's finishing it off with with corks, labels, and whatnot, and then we'll final finish it with a shrink wrap sleeve up top.
This is the cold storage.
Yes. Kegs, bottles. Don't have too many bottles in here right now. Got some root beer and a few cases of beer, but stuff doesn't last too long here. I have 13 distributors that handle the state of Michigan, and so we are all over the state. So wherever you go, ask them for it. Ask for Frankenmuth beer.